Mm.
The broadcast is live.
Whip, 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 whip.
Oh, live. There we go. I'm waiting for the thing to share.
Here it is.
Maniacs, give me a second. I also need to grab my little prop.
Give us several seconds.
15,000 seconds.
Give us all the seconds. Hang on.
Seconds on the run. I don't know what I'm saying.
Oh, I love it. My YouTube account shouts me out when this goes live, which is perfect. Because I subscribe to our YouTube. Obviously I did. But how do I share this now?
Obvi, as the kids say.
Avi. There he is. Heyo.
Share in the magic that is social media sharing. This is us sharing and caring with you on stream and with you on the social medias.
Sharing and caring because we care a lot. We're the Care Bears family.
We care a lot about you, and we care a lot about what's called engagement. Isn't that right?
Enragement, maybe.
Heck.
We get paid.
Oh, Stoddy the body is in town.
Stoddy the body. That's so much better.
Back home from the beach, Stots.
Let's see. We live. And then I gotta put the hashtag. Hold on. Salta.
I was born year of the horse. Does that mean the hay is for me?
Yes.
The hay is for whoever would like to have the hay. This is a commune of sorts.
But not the kind of multiple wives.
I mean, we're not here to shame. We're not here to shame your kink if that's what you're into.
As long as we're all taking a bunch of
I have enough trouble keeping one woman happy. I don't want to upset two of them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So,
okay, we're all shared because this one's ready.
Your mileage may vary.
Y'all good? Y'all good?
Good. Oops.
All right. The slate clack. For everybody that's listening on only audio, which is so many people, Maniacs, welcome to episode 101 of the Salt Tier Podcast. Oh. I had a little hiccup. This is Soundcasting Network's very own video game podcast where your argument is
anything but your opinion, which is invalid.
Your argument is Star Wars Episode 9. That's what your opinion is.
I keep forgetting that until other people bring it up.
And it's so sad. It's so sad. And we are not coming to you from Studio 2 and 2. We are coming to you from the land of virtual media. We're coming to you from the StreamYard, y'all. But we do have super producer here and intact. He is the Sultan of Spaghetti and the Prince of Parmesan, the region of rigatoni. We got Keith the Boogie in the house.
You missed the obvious one, the risotto god.
The risotto god?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I was going to go with stick with the alliteration, but yeah, sure, the risotto god. I'm into it. And before we get too deep in, we are brought to you, thankfully, by Voodoo Ranger IPA, which is New Belgium's very own IPA line. They are they used to have a couple, and now there's, I don't know, almost a dozen different kinds, and there's seasonal ones that you can look for. Particularly, Sagebell, do we have anything seasonally next to you, or did you drink the things?
I do not have any more of the pumpkin, but I still have the box for the higher plane. Last time I was in the grocery store, I did see the higher plane IPA, which is the 8.5% rotating IPA.
That'll get you there.
It sounds good. It sounds like it's working over there.
It's pretty smooth.
Also, I got to remember, I need to give our super producer my email because it seems I had given away all of my Voodoo Ranger koozies. So I'm currently just using a smooth sailing koozie, but they have koozies too, and they're adorable.
You gave them all away.
Well,
Oh
I
my
mean,
God.
I gave them away at the
We're gonna get
bonus round
fired.
event.
We're gonna get fired and be out of our sponsors because we are not using their stuff.
I know. Well,
Damn it, Derek.
I know you. There's one. There's probably at least a dozen at the studio, right?
I know they're all out of the studio, but they're in my trunk, so
Okay.
we'll arrange a meetup.
We'll arrange. You got the stuff. You got the money. All right. Anyway, B Corp certified employee owned delicious IPAs. Check them out. Thank you, Lauren. Oh, we gotta hit up Lauren before the end of the year, before the holidays hit. Then she'll be not reachable, and then we'll be Voodoo Ranger-less. And that what sadder thing could there be than to be Voodoo Ranger-less?
I know we had a 6-pack left in the fridge at the studio, and when Goon dropped off the Steam box, I gave him beer.
Perfection.
Nice.
Perfection. And also, this is a very loose, not official sponsor, but like just because we got the holidays coming up and I've already started buying stuff from him, I want to shout out to my buddy Coastalvania, who does all these rad lapel pins.
Ooh.
At the bottom, that's a ninja scroll.
Oh, it's hot.
Yeah, we got freaking a lot. Actually, these are all anime, but he does. Oh, there we go. We got the Metroid lightning bolt. We got the banana leaf. I had ordered like 2. And he loves us, and he loves me, and he loves the podcast, and he just threw in a bunch of extra goodies in there. And especially for stocking stuffers, you're looking for things for your little friends, check out Coastalvania. They have an Instagram. They're also at coastalvania.storeenvy.com. Particularly, there's an adorable Pikachu. There's a Pikachu lapel pin with the knife at its neck. The little, what's that meme called, Sage?
Oh, I'm not sure what the meme is. I just I like art with knives involved. I have a bunch of burbs with knives, so.
Anyway, scope that out. One of the many. So, maybe give your friends with Drizzly, you could send over a 6-pack of beer, and maybe as a stocking stuffer, throw in a lapel pin and some stickers. We'll probably talk about a lot of stuff that you can buy for the holiday season, because this is the time for giving, and you only got like 3 weeks left to get them there on time. And with that, I will go to the introductions, because that took forever. Real quick, I am Loudon Brown, at Loudon Brown, on Twitter and Instagram, right here. And on Steam and PlayStation, I'm GrowStuff with a PH. I've been playing shooters. That is all. Off to the baseball cap.
What's up? You got the Savorings, ... Not really too much been up. I've just been around. Find me on Steam at the Savorings ... Find me pretty much everywhere ... Here on Facebook at Things Betwixt, and here on the Saltier Facebook page. Been playing the same old game. The game I reviewed last week. I've been kept on playing that, even though Dragon Quest came out. And I've been kind of sitting on that, waiting for. Yes, there we go.
We got the picture in picture in picture.
Mm-hmm.
Well, doing the best we can here.
Yeah,
it's a pretty good game.
There he is.
Yeah, it's just been playing that, and waiting for CyberPunk. And actually, we could talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah, that'll be definitely topic number 1. We could actually start off with.
Yep. But there's the game. We'll have that video posted on our Saltier page if you want to take a look there on Facebook, Saltier Podcast. Not on Facebook, but on YouTube. So yeah. But that's about it. And I'll kick it off to the one with the sympathy pains for her furry friend, so much so that she wants to identify and make her furry friend feel more at home by being like, "Look, I'm one of you." I would kick it off to like the most empathetic one.
My girlfriend's not in the room.
Nice.
She is the most sympathetic person. I am not.
Oh my gosh.
You can find me at Sagefelt on Twitch and Twitter, Instagram and Facebook at Sagefelt_model. I stream on Thursdays on Twitch at 7 p.m. I usually do survival co-op horror style games. Last week we did Stats and I were playing Blackout Club, which is a less popular game, but it's pretty fun. We finally unlocked a different area, so your map gets bigger the further along you progress. So you stay in like the same like little house area, which is like a little suburban neighborhood, and then there's like a suburban like 4 more houses up a hill, and now we unlock this area that has a schoolyard. But all the other areas also available, which can be really bad when you're trying to like. Oh, there's this thing called a shape, and if it takes you over, you kind of go in the zombie mode. And so when you want to save your friend from the shape, sometimes they just walk to the other side of the map,
Nice.
and so it's hard to go save them. As the Risotto God want to chime in?
I've been playing a lot of Fortnite because I'm a filthy casual, and I know that it makes fun Shady angry. So it's fun though. I get to play with my kids. We kill people and blow shit up, and the new season's got a bunch of new battle pass shit that's really fun, like the Mandalorian. They're doing a ton of crossover stuff, which I think we're going to get into later. So yeah, that's me. And you can't find me on socials because I'm like a ninja. I don't exist.
You're a cipher. a name on the wind.
Just a brief moment on the crossplay thing. I found out that Ark Survival, like the dinosaur survival game, Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, that will not crossplay with PC on Steam, even though I'm playing on PC.
Oh.
Huh.
So I can't play with anyone who owns Ark on Steam.
That seems like something that they should address. It works for the other games like Halo and stuff. That's weird.
Yeah, it's stupid. That is my rant.
Is that specifically to Game Pass users only, or the game as a whole?
Game as a whole on Xbox PC Game Pass Ultimate thing. But I own it on that platform. So that platform will not cross-platform on a PC.
Huh.
But you can do it with a lot of the other games. Like you can do Grounded. You can play Grounded with
Forza, Gears of War, pretty much name any of them. They have crossplay.
That seems like something definitely overlooked.
Yeah.
It's a missed opportunity, for crying out loud.
Yeah, that's more on the Arc devs though. That's because that's not a Microsoft game, so that's up to them to just flip the switch or whatever they got to do. I
see.
So, but real quick on the Fortnite thing, Keith. I've been trying to get my kids to watch Mandalorian since it came out. Like, you guys are silly. You guys like Star Wars. This is actual Star Wars, and they were just like, And they were off playing their games, playing Fortnite. And then finally, he's on there, and now they won't shut the hell up about Mandalorian. But they still won't watch it. But everything they know is from that. I'm just like,
I thought the main kid evolved. I thought they moved to Counter-Strike.
No, it's not him. It's the younger ones who are now.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah. The older one, he's starting to realize the horrors of late stage capitalism as a child. So he's just like, this is horrible. He's starting to lose his affection. He still plays Fortnite, but he's like not like asking for the battle passes anymore. He plays for just like the fun of it.
Well, the battle passes are fun, so fuck all y'all.
Yeah, but he's just like, he realized that Epic bought Psyonix, the people that make Rocket League.
Yeah.
And then they realized that they made the money to buy them from buying battle passes, and now they've changed Rocket League, and it's because they owned them, but they made the money from Fortnite, and I've given them Fortnite money. Like, I see his gears turning. Like,
so he's pissed about Rocket League.
He's like, I helped ruin my own game. No, he's not pissed about it. He still plays it a lot, but like, he realizes it though, so he's like aware of like where his money's going.
He's woke.
Yeah.
Woke.
Yeah. He is woken up.
Yeah, I saw his little gears turning. It was like something as a parent, you're just like, yeah, you're figuring it out. Like, I didn't even have to tell you. You just figured it out.
It's much more noticeable on a smaller scale with the fighting game scene because it's so small. If you and your 10 friends decide you want to stop playing a game, that's like
everybody
a notable it's like a notable percentage of the local scene.
Yeah,
like 10 of you quit and there's no longer a league.
Yeah.
So like in Street Fighter, when Street Fighter Cross Tekken came out, everybody played it like week 1 at the meetups. Like, they didn't buy the game, they went to go play it at the meetups to see how it was, and they were like, this is whack. And we kind of tapered off, and then Daigo made a release and was like, hey, I'm not really gonna play this game. Seems like not a good game. And then with a quote,
That was
It was buried, and everybody moved back to Street Fighter 4, and they're like, "We'll just stick with Street Fighter 4." That said, you know, a game like Fortnite, Jesus, I can't even imagine how much money is involved with the ebb and flow of the fan base and who gets to it. And I've heard they did better, cool story gameplay, not story, but gameplay with these Avengers characters than the Avengers game did. Is that true?
Technically, yes. Technically, yes. I
Like,
mean,
it
we'll say
feels
tie.
more Marvel-y.
I agree with Keith. It's a wash. It's
I
a
mean,
wash.
here's the thing: so far you've gotten better and more characters from Fortnite and the Marvel stuff than you did, and I think that the powers that they gave you in Fortnite, like the special effects for the powers they gave you in Fortnite, were pretty fucking cool. Like you can call down Thor's hammer strike, and it was like the rainbow bridge crashes down on your head, and Mjolnir just smacks into the ground, everybody dies
in real time.
Yeah. The
Wow.
Avengers game,
I heard it's if they just, this is once again, and I'll talk about this later because this is one of my main topics. I'm going to talk about how much great content there is for like creators right now. Somebody noted that the Avengers game has, like, if they build it as an Iron Man game with supporting cast, he would understand it more, because he said that Iron Man was the most fleshed out gameplay. He's like, this feels like Iron Man. And then everybody else, and then like he said the other characters, like, here are the other characters also. They kind of punch and stuff, and it was mostly fine. But he said the Iron Man experience was like amazing.
The Kamala Khan experience is pretty cool, although it's a little, you almost feel like they just took Spider-Man's mechanics and used them with her, because she does a lot of the stretchy shit.
Yeah.
She's the stretchy character. And
so instead of a web grab, it's like her arm grows grab.
Yeah, you remember
the
those
same mechanic?
Remember those rubber gooey hand things you used to throw at the wall?
Yeah. And the thing is, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, that's just what everyone's powers are. But it seems like so repetitive. Like, you keep seeing the same punch, and you keep seeing the same, like,
word.
She can do all these different things, but you only ever see her do like 3 or 4 things. Whereas in the comics and the cartoons, she's doing all kind of crazy stuff. So
yeah, I mean, like, they give each one of the characters, I think, 3 like special powers and abilities or shit aside from just regular melee combat. So I don't know. I will say that my 4-year-old can spend hours playing it, so it's good in my eyes because I get shit done while he's goofing around and smashing shit with Hulk.
I will say the Hulk gameplay is pretty cool. It's fun to play as the Hulk on there.
It's definitely
smash.
It's definitely different than like Thor and Captain America.
Yeah, I tried to play into it and try to get into the beta, and the beta crashed to desktop like twice. I think I talked about that already on here.
Should have had a Dell Optiplex, baby.
Something.
Not Dell.
And I have some friends that bought it and they stopped playing it, and then it's pretty much all but dead on PC, at least right now. So we'll see. I want to see where's Spider-Man. How come they haven't put Spider-Man in the other one yet?
Oh, that's the PlayStation exclusive, right?
Yeah, let's go ahead and see it. Let's go ahead and see your cards. I think it's like a whole other story thing. It's like a story from Spider-Man perspective.
Well, no, so they're adding DLC like in chunks with new characters and new storylines. So you got the overall sandbox play and whatever, you do all the missions, whatever. But the DLC will be like all new shit with all the characters.
And to talk about something
Hawkeye is coming.
Yeah, we were just joking about this earlier. Hawkeye is my favorite Marvel character. And even as a Hawkeye fan, I know that wouldn't be the first name out of my mouth if you're trying to broaden your audience. Like, I know we got you Captain America and Kamala Khan and Hulk and Iron Man, but we have no powers Hawkeye.
I mean, but
I'm pumped on it.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a lot of superheroes that are really good that don't have superpowers. Like your favorites over at DC, where you're like, I wonder, because you're always like, what's up with the power levels over there? Because half of their heroes don't have powers. So yeah, there's a pretty good chunk of them.
Notably, from the 7, that's
the 7, but there's like,
oh, I see. I
like,
see.
If you look at like some of the, you got, like,
I'm thinking of like Avengers being absolutely equal to the Justice League.
Oh no,
yeah,
and their starting lineups are a little overbalanced, but it also depends on what Superman shows up too.
And then also there's the Bat. The entire Bat family is unpowered. So there you go.
They are.
And you got Grifter and people like that. People who just like barely have some powers.
Oh my god!
Constantine, Zatanna, you know.
I figure the Avengers probably take the Justice League just because Scarlet Witch would kill Superman.
Yeah, because of the weakness of magic.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why they keep Zatanna around, really. Like,
Yeah.
everybody has these contingency plans, and Zatanna would just be like, Ooga booga, your head's a booger. Dead.
Mhm. But you have to say it backwards, though.
Oh, that's right. She's a fantastic character. DC Injustice. There you go. Tied it in.
Yeah.
I love that we stole that from Savorings ... Anytime we go into a tangent, you just got to name a game real quick.
Yeah, something that remotely ties into it, and we're back on track.
So we can get into CyberPunk, or did we have anything else from headlines that you wanted to speak about, Sagebell? Anything at all? Besides how cute Kigurumis are?
I don't own a Kigu.
Is that not a Kigu?
No, it's just a sweater.
Oh, it's only the top. So
Yeah.
you're bottomless right now? That's too much information.
I'm wearing a skirt. It's made of
And
velvet.
if you're curious, anybody, you maniacs that are listening right now, when I said the word
Sweater.
Kigurumi, I wasn't throwing that out of nowhere. When I first saw Gang Beasts, I realized, oh my god, they're kind of like non-descriptive characters, but they're all wearing Kigurumis. Like, that's not a parrot. That's not a bear. They're like humanoid people wearing Kigus, which makes the game even cuter, aside from how adorable the gameplay looks. It's like the least offensive looking fighting game.
I love wearing the old granny pearls and then being a dinosaur. Like an 8 grandma.
And, you
With a
know,
wig
that's
on,
probably...
You gotta have a giant wig on. It's like the scale for the dinosaur.
To put a pin on buying stuff like today or this week, if you can, for people, be it Coastalvania or beer. You can also, I think, you think they're going to be a lot of people sending game codes as gifts this year?
Yes.
Because I think Gang Beasts is a pretty fun game.
It is. Highly recommended. Definitely one of the games when you're talking about, we should play something co-op. Is there a co-op type game on the PC that we could play? That's definitely one of them. That game literally takes any controller. You can plug like an Atari controller into your computer basically and play that game.
And you can get a crap ton of people in there.
Yep.
It's
in
not
what
just
game?
One-on-one. Gang Beasts, you can get a ton of people.
Is it more than?
Yeah, on the PC. On the PC, it's like 16 player. It's like however many. If you have like a USB hub, you can plug that in and plug like 4 controllers into it and get another one and plug another 4 and then use like the other 8 plugs on your computer. And, yeah.
Derek, when we were at Evo, we could play like 16 people at Evo. They had the whole ring up. They had like a wrestling ring, and
I saw the wrestling ring, but I don't remember playing with more than 8. I thought 8 was the limit.
There was way more than 8 people.
That's hilarious.
I got 3rd place. Trust me, there was more than 8 people.
To completely interject, speaking of fantastic games or mediocre games, I have a video review that's going to be up in, T minus X amount of seconds. So maybe we'll talk to London and get that queued up.
Maniacs, this is Loud and Brown, giving you a little update on me finishing a campaign game, which never happens. I play shooters and fighters. I finally finished Kingdom Hearts 3 after all this time and talking about buying PS4 to play Kingdom Hearts 3. And in a nutshell, would not play again. And I should have listened to Donkey, should have listened to Cosmonaut, but unless you're like a super hardcore fan that played all of the games, I don't think this is for you. Maybe if I played this first before Final Fantasy VII Remake and Final Fantasy 15, I might have liked it, but it was a lot of spamming X, a lot of convoluted storyline, and not a whole lot of payoff. So, I don't know. No rating system. I'm salty about it.
Nice. Heck yeah. That's going to be on the YouTubes. Check us out at Saltier Podcast.
I look good in that sweater. Is that weird to say?
I want to see more of those. More of those.
I'll try to do it. Was that okay with the little over-shoulder laptop? That's because I didn't.
Yeah.
I thought it was hilarious. I liked it.
Yeah. More of that, please.
So to riff on that, all that talk, Maniacs, the reason I own a PS4 is Kingdom Hearts 3. I was there. Was that E3 when they announced it? They did the Final Fantasy 15 like final trailer, and everybody knew it was coming, and they were excited. And the head director was like, "Oh, let's change that name real quick," and it turned from Final Fantasy 13 Versus into 15, and everybody applauded. And then he got quiet, and you saw little Tinkerbell fly by, and the crowd was like, "No fucking way!" Ever since that announcement, that was the line in the sand between Xbox One or the PS4. That was because at the time I was playing on 360. I had a 360 when I was playing Street Fighter 4. I saw that trailer for Kingdom Hearts 3, and I'm like, done, no arguments. I have to buy a PS4 because I have to play Final Fantasy 15 and Kingdom Hearts 3. And Kingdom Hearts 3 was a letdown. It's a bummer. Did anybody play any of them aside from 1 and 2?
No, and I barely played 1.
I never
They're all
got
right.
the island.
They're all right. Anyway, don't buy that for a loved one for the holidays. Maybe buy CyberPunk. And that's what I'd like to move on to, if that's okay with
Yeesh.
everybody. And I'll actually kick this off to the Savorings ...
Ladies and gentlemen, 2020. What a year it's been, right? Not the greatest year. Probably the second or third worst year in all of human history that we know of. It's up there. Actually, the year 536 AD is the worst year in history.
Want to elaborate on that?
If you want to be technical, that's when a couple of plagues started. That's when Rome got sacked by the Goths. That's when a bunch of stuff happened. There was,
yeah, sciencemag.org.
There was
536 was the worst year of science. Oh
yeah.
God.
That's when the Little Ice Age started. That's when a bunch of stuff all happened all at once. That's when a couple of volcanoes erupted. Yeah, and it happened everywhere. But what if I were to tell you that the one video game that most people were, if not holding out for or waiting for, were at least interested or at least wanted to see whatever became of it, somehow tangentially, like whether you do a podcast, whether you just have friends that talk about it, whether you are interested and you want to buy it on day one, you wanted to buy it like 2 years ago, 3 years ago when they first announced it, however long ago it was. It's been a while. When did they announce that game? London.
They announced that game years ago.
London. When did they announce Cyberpunk?
At least 2 years ago.
No, it was way longer than that. It was like, I don't know. Anyway, what if I were to tell you that as of right now, the game is not looking, it's looking kind of sketch. I mean, as we can see here, I mean, that's, what is this? Is this Driver? Remember, you guys remember Driver on the PlayStation 1 and 2? This looks like Driver to me. It's getting some strange reviews. Basically, reviewers are like, it's a buggy, weird mess. 10 out of 10. Everybody's like, what?
Okay, to be a little more specific, because we talked about this the other night, because we're a fully functioning podcast that does everything on time and completely correct. This is not the PC version, right?
No, specifically the
This is
seems to be
PS4
with
footage?
the PS4 and presumably the Xbox One, since that's less powerful.
And I got to say, one, let's just shout out to Zim804 for putting this up. And then let's also say that this gameplay looks like hot trash on the PS4.
Watch this. Watch when they pull the. Watch this part. I won't even say it.
That's right.
You'll see it when it happens. Okay.
Look at this. Watch this. Watch this.
Without even touching you, scoop you right out.
So, hey everybody, let me put my tinfoil hat on. We're crossing genres. The main character in Cyberpunk 2077 is a Force user, because obviously there was no physical touching of the driver. He kind of placed the hands near the collar and Force pulled them out of the car. We're gonna have Jedis in 2077. Said it first here at the Salt Tier Podcast.
It's not Jedis. He uses chi.
Oh, so it's a Mulan sequel. Because it has nothing to do with a woman ever being clever or working hard.
Clever girl.
She just had chi. So the same thing in 2077. It's a chi-based game.
I have another theory. This takes place in the same universe as Madden 21, because if you watch, there's a video going around about Madden 21 with field goal kickers kicking the ball without touching it. So that actually happened in a game, and somebody recorded it, and they're like, "This is simulation football, everyone." So that's my theory. This universe takes place in the same universe as Madden 21.
All I know
So-
is that this gameplay looks like it would be really dope in 2002.
Yeah, this looks like some really good, like the first Deus Ex. Mankind.
Okay, I just noted something, mainly because of the games that I currently play. CyberPunk is not using the very, very good game engine that everybody else uses because it's fantastic, the Unreal Engine, right? And as far as development goes, Savorings ... Can you explain to the listeners and viewers what a game engine is? Like broadly, please make it under 30 seconds.
That's basically the software and the framework of which you import, you bring in all of your assets, your music, your textures, your character models, and you make it all work together. You can build maps and you can put those characters on a world. It's basically like Microsoft Office. Like, say you need to put a presentation together, Microsoft Office would be your engine to have like reports and generate all these things. So it all comes out together in one big cohesive report. So basically a game engine is the structure, the software that you build games on.
Thank you. So many games are currently, like I said, using the Unreal Engine because it is tried and true. It's been in development by really like people that give a shit, like
It's got lots of bells and whistles, so you can do like simple games or really complex games.
Yeah, and it's to the point where even fighting games have moved on to it, and fighting games are notably stubborn for game engines.
It's very flexible. You can do a lot. You can make like a nice JRPG. You can make a fighting game. You can make a
Cyberpunk comes around and be like, I don't want to use that game engine everybody else is using that has good collision and physics and lighting. We're going to use our very own Red Engine 4.
Which you know what?
It's from
fine.
Yeah, and they are.
It's fine if you want to do that, but make sure that you get people in there that do that. And The Witcher 3 did suffer from this as well. That's probably that game's Achilles heel, but it gets overlooked because of the rest of the game is great. And sometimes it's fun when you're like walking and you hit a fence and you're just like on top of the fence.
Yeah, so
Take another step and then you're down the fence.
So CD Projekt Red previously licensed with BioWare for the development of The Witcher, but the Red Engine is exclusively made for non-linear role-playing video games, is the quote here.
Hold on. A little side note. We didn't talk about this in our newsy bits. We didn't have a newsy bits, but this is relevant because the two of the main people at BioWare, one of them, the co-founder, just left.
Mhm.
So BioWare isn't quite what it was. The co-founder and I guess the director or the producer, or the creative director of
I believe the producer
of Dragon Age, right?
Yeah, he took off, and then there was a whole thing because one of the voice actors was like, "You're a douchebag," and the producer was like, "No, you're a douchebag," and now they're fighting on Twitter.
Yes.
Like all civil people do.
And
of course.
I believe Stoddy and Sagebell did a little bit of hunting with London. And when did this game get announced? 2012?
2012, and then in 2013 was the first trailer.
Wow.
Do we all feel old because it's 2020?
Wow.
8
And
years ago.
This is like Duke Nukem Forever.
This is bad. This is like I'm not gonna say
8-year development?
I'm not gonna say Fallout 76
Well-
because they did that game in like 6 months.
8 years isn't like terrible, except for the fact that like, do they have any other games that would build up to like? Is there another Cyberpunk?
No. This is
So this-
brand new out of the gate for them. For everyone. There's never been a Cyberpunk.
So the only
depends.
thing I could relate this to is Final Fantasy 15, which came out last year, right? The production was announced in 2006 as a spin-off to Final Fantasy 13 as Final Fantasy Versus
Yes.
for the PlayStation 3.
And it seems like they didn't learn their lesson because the game before this also got announced like back in like the 2000. When did Final Fantasy 14 originally get announced?
14?
Yeah, because remember it came out
The
the MMO.
MMO?
Remember it was in development
I
for a
mean,
while,
that one came out.
but then it got pulled back, and then it got held on for like another like 3 years, and then it came back out.
I mean, you could do as Blizzard does, and with Diablo 3, they announced it in 2009, But let's see, 10, 11, 12. So it took 3 years. Oh, wait, sorry, 4 years because they announced it in 2008, technically.
4 years for Diablo 3, and you could beat that
From
game
announcement.
in like
From the announcement,
like
because
6
we know
hours.
Diablo was definitely in production before announcement.
And it didn't even have adventure mode. That's not something that they added like way later.
If it matters at all, Savorings ... According to let me clip the reference point to make sure I'm not misquoting.
Oh, but
they announced Final Fantasy 14 in late 2004,
Oh my god.
but it came out in 2010. So that's less time than CyberPunk is what we're relating it to.
Yeah, but that's still a long time, and don't forget it got pulled and re-released again.
Diablo 2 came out in 2000, so there was a 13-year gap between games.
It's like a whole generation.
Cow.
12-year gap.
That's like a
I
whole
remember
generation.
sitting in my house at WSU playing Diablo 1, and we all had loft beds because the place was like horribly small, and so everybody's little underneath their loft bed was their little gaming cave, and it was just like beer and cigarettes and a computer and pot and Diablo for like 6 months.
I also had a loft bed
studying.
in that year range, but I was a much different age because I was also playing it without all the alcohol and booze. But my
Well,
dad
you
was
know.
playing it too.
But also, like I said, a lot of studying and learning, right?
I was learning what beers go best with cigarettes.
Let's see. I was in fourth grade, so I was learning about Native Americans and spiders.
Ooh, spiders.
Notable. So, as a macro topic, not just to talk about the hype and the announcement and the length of development, let's talk about the end result of when games actually come out that are hyped up like this. And like with Cyberpunk, I made a pretty bad example of what it felt like to me. I kind of like it was a knee-jerk reaction. I was like, this kind of feels like Watch Dogs, but I think Savorings has a better example. Like, what is 27/7's development and possible woes? Is this feeling like Fallout 76 to you?
No, it's not going to be quite that bad, as far as I can tell. I just got all the spider sense was going off about that game because it's Bethesda and it's online and there's just a whole lot going on for them, and it still is. But with CD Projekt Red, and I know from playing the previous Witcher games at least a little bit, they're not very well optimized. Like at least until you got to the third one. And even at their best, which was the third one, I don't let that be mistaken. The third one was the best one by far, and I'm not just saying that in a way like, oh, Mario Brothers 2 was better than no. This was notably better than the other ones. It was still kind of janky, like I said, running around and running up on but you could forgive it. It was video gamey in the midst of all that grim, real like stuff that's going on. So I could see this kind of going sideways, just like you were saying. They have their own engine. They didn't rely on a tried and true thing. But they have the resources, and it's not like they have a problem attracting talent. So at that point, I was just hoping that, they could overcome that and at least have something solid enough for them. There's still going to be glitches in it. Think of it as long as it's like 80% of Skyrim glitches, but with like more depth and stuff like they've shown, I'd be happy with that because I'm fine with the Skyrim glitches for the most part. It adds to the game. It's a little flavor. So if that game had its own glitch flavor, as long as it didn't break anything or block progress, I'd be okay with that. But this is just kind of looking kind of sketch. But also keep in mind there will be a day one patch that's as big as the game itself. So the game's a 50 gig. The game's a 50 gig install, and there will be a 50 gig day one patch.
Wow.
I'm not even touching this thing until I buy a PS5 because I'd have to erase everything on my current PS4 to get it on there. And
I'm going to play this on PC, straight up.
It's great. I'm glad you brought that up, Keith, because did you know the Xbox Series X and S and the PlayStation 5 are going to be playing the PS4 Pro version of that game? They're going to be playing the Xbox One X version of that game. There won't be a next-gen PS5 or Xbox Series X or S version of that game until...
There's going to be a console version, and then there's going to be a PC version.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
Well, the version. So say you buy a PS5, you buy CyberPunk. It's going to be the PS4 version of that game. It's not going to be enhanced and like really take advantage. Like you'll be able to run the frame rate uncapped and get 60 FPS or 120 or whatever you can push.
Is
But
it going to be what do they call it? Is it upbidding? No, what's
it's not. It's not a remaster or an upgrade. It's not going to have ray tracing. It's not going to have like all like the features and custom things for it. It's going to be the PS4 version. And if you have a Series X or S, it's going to be the Xbox One X version. So it's going to have all the same assets and all that stuff. So yeah, and that's not till next year they're going to come out with the remastered one. So
whew.
I thought I would let
you're
you know.
saying PC wins again?
No, because also in a lot of these Twitter things and early reviews, people are talking about how it doesn't run very well even on an RTX 3080, one of these brand new cards that's like flexing 4K. It's not running very well on that card. So imagine you're one of those people that was lucky enough to get your hands on that card for like for the steal, the relative steal of $800 or $900. Get your hands on one of those cards and you buy Cyberpunk and it plays like poop. Like, can you imagine?
Okay, so now this is starting to sound like. Was it Doom 3? What was the game? What was the game with the flashlight on your gun, and you had to turn it off? You had to choose you had to choose either a flashlight or a gun, and it was kind of scary.
Was that Dead Space?
No, it was older than that. We're talking like early 2000s, but it was the first game in a really long time where everybody had to swap out their towers. The first game, everybody's StarCraft, Counter-Strike.
It might have been. It might have been Doom 3.
Yeah, and I remember all my friends were like, "Fuck!" They're like, "What?" It's like, I'm on Newegg right now shopping for deals because nothing can play this game. And that's just the specs that the game put out. That's not what we're talking about right now, where they're putting the game out that's playable on the PS4. Doom 3 was like, hey, you need X, Y, and Z to even try to play this.
Yeah.
This is the reverse of that, where CD Projekt Red is like, oh, you could totally play this game with those specs. And then they give you this game that you really can't play with those specs.
Well, I'm thinking it's something along the lines of like a Borderlands 3. It doesn't really matter what you play it on. Any of the consoles, budget hardware, mid-range, $5,000 computer. It plays worse than it should. It doesn't matter what you're on.
Wow.
Yeah.
It does play pretty terrible.
Yeah, it plays terrible no matter what you're on. Yeah.
So it's the opposite of Warcraft, where you could play it on. Somebody say you could play Warcraft on a potato?
Yes, and if you look at the most popular games in the world, more popular than a Call of Duty or even Call of Duty, you could play that on a potato. That Call of Duty is not very intensive at all.
Yeah, but you're right. You know, League of Legends,
Dota
2,
Counter-Strike,
and also Rune.
All
what's
Guys.
the cell phone game? Like the biggest games in the entire world.
Raid Shadow Legends.
Yeah, all those games. You're right. It's the gameplay. It's
Fall Guys, Last of Us. I mean, not Last of Us, but Among Us. Yeah, you can play all those on like.
You're absolutely right.
Nothing. So yeah.
I think Street Fighter V is the first Street Fighter game that is actually a little graphically demanding. I can't think of another Street Fighter game where you're like, "Ooh, this looks rough." Like, it's the only. I'm looking to you, all three of you, and everybody on the chat. Although Stadi's pretty quiet tonight, I can't think of another a Street Fighter game that was like, "Hey, if you don't have this, you can't play this game."
Honestly, the last one I could really think of was if you got used to playing it on the Super Nintendo versus the Genesis. Like, they handle sprites differently.
Oh, sure, but once again, you're talking about ports. I mean, that's another thing, right? Like,
but the ports,
all of these are made for the arcade.
But the ports back then were built based around the hardware. Like, it wasn't like a clean port. You couldn't just take the Super Nintendo game and put it on the Genesis. You had to do a bunch of different stuff and basically
rewrite because of the limitations, right?
Yeah, and they were so different. Now these are like basically PCs. They have basically the same guts. You know, ports and even back in the day, even with Street Fighter 4.
You're right.
Yeah, but yeah, to me that's the last time to answer your question. That's the last time I can really think of a hardware difference in Street Fighter. You know,
and then I pretty much play fighters and shooters. When it comes to shooters, though, I remember when I think the first time I noticed graphically the difference is when Battlefield 3 came out. You could play it off disc, but they highly recommended the graphics download, which was like 20 gigs or something like that. And then you download that and play the campaign and it was night and day. It was like it was.
You need to play that on the PC. That game is free now, basically. Battlefield 3.
Yeah, I mean, I played the campaign. I'm done. I'm not gonna replay the campaign. It didn't blow my mind. It was fun.
You should
But
replay it on your
I'm
PC.
sure it looks beautiful, but I'll just play a current game that's beautiful that I haven't
Yeah,
played.
that's true, but now you can like just shoot your way through it. You can probably beat that campaign in like 2 hours now.
I have such little interest, and so many games I haven't played yet. So many. Sorry, Battlefield.
No, I'm just saying.
I might be coerced into replaying the Halo 3 campaign because,
Yeah, see?
you
Okay,
know what
well
I mean?
then,
Like,
yes.
that's something that I would like to relive. Like the Battlefield 3 campaign, like, who cares?
Yeah.
But like
So that's-
Halo on a PC,
Yeah.
ooh,
Okay, well, that's good because that's something that I haven't really heard you do on your PC yet, and that's kind of the beauty of it. When you go back and you like dig up some older game and you play it on your PC, and you're like, wow,
it is pretty gnarly playing
way more.
Overwatch on my PC because I got that 970. It's
Mhm.
gorgeous.
It chews that game up. It's like falling asleep, half falling asleep when you.
Yeah,
play
it's
that.
like here's
Yeah.
your dumb game. And to me, it looks way better than PS4. But yeah, that aside, we are just gumming up the airwaves today and rambling. And
Yippity yapping.
Keith
We
the
are.
Boogie, do we have time to talk about YouTube creators tonight?
Yes, we do.
Cool. That would be something, and this is going to be also closing statements. It's like, we only got like 15 minutes left or so. And I want this to be like big answers from y'all. I don't want this to be like, hey, I follow X, Y, and Z.
Mm.
These past couple weeks, and I don't know if it's because of COVID and people having more time at home, I've been seeing more and more, specifically YouTube creators, putting out amazing content that's talking about stuff that matters. It's not just reviews. They're not just, this is why it sucks. They're not just, hi, I'm going to do funny stuff on stream and get reactions from players. It's actual content. This creator, he does the ABI tutorials. He's a game designer and an animation. Is he animator? I can't remember what his day job is, but he did an entire 30-minute episodes talking about the design and utility of keyblades from the Kingdom Hearts series. And he goes into in-depth. He talks about like Chinese hook swords and how he's offended that Cabal's the only fighting game person, notably in video games, that uses one. And he goes super deep into it. This is the same guy that talks about how there's a better story in this hentai game than in most fighting games, and he thinks that's an embarrassment. And he's like, there's an entire story here. Ignore the jiggle physics. And his content is so fantastic. And I think it's because everybody's locked up. Some of these people are getting way more support than they did a year or two ago.
Definitely. There's a lot of people's YouTube channels blowing up right now.
And
Definitely.
notably, I don't think I've gone an episode without quoting either Dunkey or Cosmonaut Variety Hour. But both of those creators are so in lock with video games, and they've been playing forever, and they have first-hand knowledge on stuff. Sometimes they definitely put their own opinions in there, but a lot of their points are made so well, and I love it seeing their gameplay while they're making their argument. And it's not just an IGN article. It's not someone with like a vertical cell phone selfie video complaining. Like, it's actual gameplay. It's real references. You could hear and see it. And I am here for it. And I love it. And I hope that, I feel like that's what Salt Tier is going to start creeping into with these cool minute reviews. And hopefully we'll dive into other stuff. And I want to see like, tech fap side videos and all of the things.
Right over here in the corner. You see this?
Yeah?
That's my new monitor.
Oh, snap. Well, then I'll kick it off to you. But before that, I will say this has been Loud and Brown.
Godspeed.
I'm at Loud and Brown on Instagram and Twitter. I'm GrowStuff with a PH. On Steam and PlayStation. I'm going to hold this up again. I don't know if you noticed that. That is a Canetta bike.
Nice.
It's freaking gorgeous. And then Angry Duding, like skull. And then this is the reason I got it, really, was, I'm a stupid Neon Genesis fanboy, so I got the little NASA sticker, but it's Nerve. So
Nice.
great. That's Coastalvania. I will kick it off to you. And what content have you been consuming on the online. Why do you think they're great? And also, what's up with that monitor?
The monitor I have back here is basically the same as the one I have now. I have a 27-inch 1080p, 1440p, 144 hertz. This one's got a TN panel. There's basically 3 types of panels that go into a monitor. And briefly, TNs are faster; they're better for gaming. VAs are kind of like in the middle. IPS monitors look good, and you can watch them from different angles. So you can like be sitting back, or you have the monitor above or below you, and everything.
Are those ideal for maybe movies?
Yeah, for movies, for design work, because they have better color representation.
With
So
TN, is that have to do with a delay?
it's something in the manufacturing of the screens themselves, where they all are specialized, and the one I have is better for gaming. It's got the faster response time and stuff.
Okay,
So
yeah,
this
because that's
model's
important.
this model is about 2 years old. This one is about 6 months old, and it's just as good at gaming as this one is, but it's an IPS panel, so it's going to look prettier than this one and be just as good at gaming. So I got that
The
one.
best of both worlds.
Yes.
Clarice.
So you were talking about reviews a moment ago.
Not just reviews. Like, that's the thing I wanted to get away from with the people that I plugged. They don't just do reviews. They do like editorials.
I'm looking at my YouTube history, and it's all over the place. I have VR headset reviews. I have comics explained. Wasn't somebody on here talking about that? That was Skylar. I have ESPN because the channel's not really worth watching, but I watch the clips on YouTube. I have tech deals, a bunch of stuff about hardware, Star Citizen stuff. I have CNN. Where did the N word come from? I haven't watched that stuff though, but it's in my history.
Well, aside from your history, did you want to plug anybody that's putting out consistent stuff that you think we should strive for, or that our listeners should also look at?
You know what? This one, I have to go back and look because I watch a lot of YouTube. So I have a lot of people I feel that way about, but I know we'll come back. Like maybe we'll have a spotlight on.
Sure. You know, because I have people that I follow, and then there are mine that are insta clicks. Like John Oliver last week tonight, I'm like, I'm watching this before I leave my bed. Like, I have to watch this right now. Yeah. You know, and I'm only like that with a couple of creators.
Yeah,
I don't listen to a film analysis with Patrick H. Willems instantly. I'm like, I'll watch that tonight.
Yeah,
it's good and I like it, but I don't need to watch it now.
That's why my history is so deep, because I'll watch like the first 2 seconds of a video just so it's in my history and I can like flip back to it later. But yeah, the 2 that you keep mentioning, Donkey and Cosmonaut, I'm subscribed to both of them. I don't watch every single one of Cosmonaut's ones, but I usually watch every single one of Donkey's.
Donkey's pretty great.
Yeah.
And Maniacs, if you're watching Salt Your Podcast and you don't know who Donkey is, you need to educate yourself.
Thank you, Dark
He's one of the few internet trolls that could back it up with gameplay technical skill.
Thank you, Dark Soul.
Homeboy's a beast.
Yeah.
He's so good, and not just shooters. He's doing those Mario Maker levels, like those expert like 0.1 complete rates.
But even if he's not, it's still entertaining to watch. And
that is true.
And even if he fails, that's kind of the point of the video. And he doesn't apologize for it. It's hilarious.
He does apologize for it, but in his way, he's like, little does everybody know that was actually my kid brother that picked up my controller. That wasn't even me playing. I was blindfolded this entire time.
Yeah, I just remember the Dark Souls every 5 minutes dying. Thank you, Dark Souls.
How about the Risotto God? Do you have content creators that you want and closing statements and all that things?
Content creators I like. I've been watching this dude called Death. He streams a lot of Call of Duty, but the shit that I watch him for is because he's got a prison channel called Lockdown 23-1, and he just talks shit about prison, which is super funny.
Wait, actual prison or prisons in games?
No, actual prisons. This is not a gaming content.
Is it political? Like, is it about the industrial prison complex or just like the food?
He's just talking about life in prison. And like all the crazy shit that goes down and all the shit you shouldn't do and what not to do if you get locked up. And he talks
so he was in prison at one point.
Yeah, no, he was in prison. Yeah.
Oh shoot! I wonder what he thinks of the Call of Duty gulag.
I don't know. We could probably ask him.
Does he
and his name was Death?
Does he play dungeon crawler games?
No, I don't believe so. No, he just does. His show's called Lockdown 23-1, and he's just kind of a cool dude. And it's good to see like somebody like being able to make a living off of YouTube instead of like going back to doing dumb shit and getting locked up again. So that's cool. And honestly, the only other thing I really watch on YouTube a shitload of is Gas Digital Network has all of the roast battles from the New York comedy clubs, and it's just people saying the most transgressive, rudest, meanest shit possible to each other, and it's fucking hilarious.
Sounds mean.
Oh, dude, it's so mean. Like the shit that they say is so ruthless.
Mm-mm-mm.
I guess we have no closing statements from Sage Bell because Sage Bell has decided to Sage bail. Oh,
Mm.
Oh
Where'd she
no!
go? Where'd she
We
go?
lost her. Well, hopefully this will come back while I'm doing the last plugs here. I already plugged Coastalvania again. Check them out; they're beautiful. But Voodoo Ranger IPA, parented by the New Belgium Brewing Company from Colorado. They are employee-owned and B Corp certified. Currently, they have the Higher Plane IPA, and if you're lucky or in the boonies, you can get the Atomic Pumpkin. Scope them out. Give them as a gift. What better gift in 2020 than to give someone beer or anything on Drizzly? You could send hard liquor on Drizzly. That's
And-
freaking incredible.
But
actually, if
you
somebody wants to send me a gift, we talked about this a couple months ago, Savorings, but Leisure Suit Larry, Wet Dreams Dry Twice is now out, so you can send me a key to that.
Oh my god.
Steam?
Leisure Suit Larry's
Yeah.
still in the game.
On Steam?
I mean, now you can get 4K digital boobies.
Yeah,
What's
right.
Gift it to you on what? On Steam?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, we'll just gift it to the
Yeah, it's on
Saltier
Steam.
account.
Wait, didn't The Witcher have nudity?
Yeah, not really.
But see, that's the thing. Leisure Suit Larry is not about the nudity; it's about
It's
the hijinks.
Yeah.
It is about the hijinks. It's very Porky's meets, like especially the time frame when this game came out.
What do they
It was
call it?
very Revenge of the Nerds,
What do they
Porky's.
call Police Academy? Like what do they call it? Sophomoric. It's very sophomoric.
It's very sophomoric, but definitely rated R
Yes,
for sure.
for sure. Yeah, the very first one, I was like 10 years old, trying to figure out like the combination to give the girl the Spanish fly.
Oh,
give
I remember
Spanish
there's like a 20 questions just to unlock the rating of the game. You have to answer these weird things that like happened in the 70s and 60s, and they ask all this crazy stuff.
Yay.
Anyway, Leisure Larry. Give a shout out to Voodoo Ranger Order. Give a shout out to Soundcasting Network and Coastalvania. Now to the closing statements of the one everybody has been asking for. Everybody's been waiting. Sage Bell, what content do you consume? And who can you give a shout out to this holiday season?
Well, if I don't break my browser again doing that, I've been just like hanging out in Twitch and watching different people. I've watched a lot of people who are like primarily playing Dead by Daylight. I don't know why it's like just I've been fixated on it, but a different person I follow, Kiki X, says KEKEX. Come on, maybe. Nope, I don't know. She's been playing a lot of fight games, and she's going to be in a fight tournament. That's an all-girls tournament coming up.
Dope.
If I could figure out where she is in here.
Mega Man.
Oh well.
I love Stotty so much.
She's really adorable. And her community is really cool. So I like hanging out in her stream. There's another person I follow. Her name is Lem. I think it's like lemonade, but it's like LYM or something. I don't know. I'm afraid to open and crash my browser again.
No, that's okay. London will link these to our Twitter and Facebook sometime today. I don't think London's going to do it by today. Tomorrow, we will get those up.
There we go. Key, too easy. Check with a Y. She was playing Blaze Blue today.
Wonderful.
There we go.
Got that. And why so? Why is this differentiated from the other, bigger streamers or streamers that you know personally? Like, what set it apart?
I have no idea how I got to her channel. She was either like shared on Twitch or she just was rated by someone else I follow. But I just kind of has stuck around because her community's been pretty great.
Tight.
And I mean, she's someone with a check mark, so she has on average 75 people minimum in her chat at all, like, or at least watching her streams. But she still takes the time out to chat with you. Whereas some of the other streamers, like, their chat's either so busy or they're just, too busy to pay too much attention, and you just kind of chat with the chat.
Nice. I followed.
Cool. And I just posted on our Facebook, and then we got a whole new century ahead of us, a whole new decade. Well, not a whole new century, a whole new decade ahead of us. And we'll talk about, what we're doing in 2021 as a podcast and how, thank you. And, how we're going to go about things. Right now, we stream on YouTube and Facebook, but we might be streaming on the Twitch soon. Is that a thing, super producer?
Yes, it will be before the end of the month.
Ooh,
Nice.
Excited for that, because that's one thing this grandpa knows very little about. I have all these dear friends that try to engage with me with Twitch and TikTok, and I don't have a big understanding on either of those, and I'm here to learn. Maybe I'll get better at it. But I do want to say I am thankful for everybody that tuned in. I am very thankful for Stoddy Too Hottie with the hot body. That's our fifth Beatle.
I'm not
Only
clapping
me
for that.
applauding.
I'm
I
not
love
clapping.
that, Nick.
I'm not clapping for that.
Yeah. 2021 is going to be the reaping the Kickstarter board games. Oh shit, you're totally right about that.
And everyone just remember 20. It's at least it's not 536 AD.
It's not 5:36. I believe London posted about 5:36 not 30 minutes ago. Another big shout out to the Soundcasting Network for hosting us. So appreciative that we've had 101 episodes of a lot of rambling and drinking, and we've had so much fun. Thank you so much. Scope out the other podcasts they have going. We got How to Better Be a Drinker on video streams now, and I have to say that might have a little to do with this podcast maybe blazing the trail. Just maybe. That's a speculation. I wouldn't know. You'd have to ask the Risotto God about that. But, I can only imagine other podcasts are soon to follow. Also, aside from How to Be a Better Drinker, we got the Reese Show. We got the Glow Up. Anything else that's about to drop, Risotto God?
Nothing I can talk about.
Oh, secrets.
Yeah, he's got stuff.
He's got secrets. Okay. And then scope us out, YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud,
Stitcher,
Stitcher,
YouTube podcast, formerly known as
Stitcher.
YouTube Music.
I'll tell you what, we are not currently on anything that Paladins tried to stream on. Poor bastards. Such a sad story. Another example of great content creation. Yeah, we are not on Mixer.
Yeah.
And we are not on Facebook Gaming.
And like I said, I think I brought this up on this podcast before. Look at this. I have, oh my gosh, everything's all tangled up. It's spaghetti down here. Hold on. I have this.
Paschetti?
It's spaghetti. I have this new Xbox controller, right?
Oh.
It's got a share button, right?
Yeah.
What are we sharing to, Microsoft? Like, you closed Mixer, so like, what are we sharing?
Oh.
Here? And you can't map this. You can't map this anywhere in Windows. It doesn't recognize this in Windows. So this has no functionality. Sad. So I just thought that was funny. You brought up Mixer, and then right before they release a controller, the share button, they get rid of Mixer.
Oh, that is a bummer. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. This has been the Soundcasting Network's video game podcast, where your argument is
potato salad.
Moist
potato salad. This is Salt Tier, episode 101. Signing off. Thank you kindly.